Hello! So we're supposed to be social distancing. You have to stay 6 feet away from other people. But I have no idea exactly how far 6 feet is. So I made an app to measure for me. I have the app running on my phone.
Please stay 6 feet away and please wear a mask to hide your ugly face. Please stay.
It yells at people if they get too close. First, I'll explain how it works. Then we'll go outside and test it on people. Here's a screenshot. I realize some people might not want the app to yell at everyone because they're polite or something. So I added an Enable Yelling button, and it only yells if you're holding the button and someone's closer than 6 feet. I'm not pressing it here. How does the app work? There are 2 different distance detection modes, augmented reality and trigonometry. The first distance mode uses Apple's augmented reality kit, which can detect people and measure the distance to them using a technique called visual inertial odometry. This uses motion sensors in the phone and compares how landmarks in the image move when the phone moves. For example, if the phone moves a foot to the side, then something that's close to the phone will move a lot from the perspective of the phone, but something that's far away won't move very much in the phone's view. One problem with this method is that the distance detection functionality of the augmented reality kit only works on newer phones, and I wanted to make something that would work for more people. So I made a second distance detection algorithm. The second distance detection mode is trigonometry based. For this version, there's a little plus sign on the screen, and you aim it at the feet of the person you want to measure the distance to. Here's a diagram of how it works. I made a triangle from the height of the phone, the distance to the other person, and the line of sight of the phone's camera. There's a gyroscope in the phone which gives you the angle that it's tilted at, which lets you compute this angle theta. Then you can compute the distance to the other person as the height of the phone times cotangent of theta. The app needs the phone's height. There are 2 different ways to get this. For the first, you input your height, and then the app assumes you hold the phone at about shoulder height. On average, people's shoulders are at 82% of their full height, so the app calculates the phone height as 0.82 times your height. Alternatively, you can directly input the height of the phone, in case you want to use the app while sitting down or while standing on stilts. But this one's harder to use since you actually have to know the height of the phone. You can input that data on this page, like this. Also, you can customize what the app will yell at people. You can toggle between the 2 distance detection methods like this. The trig-based distance method is measuring the distance to the stool, because that's where the plus sign is pointed at. The augmented reality distance mode isn't reporting any distance, because it relies on detecting people, and that's a stool, not a person. Getting all that to work might have been difficult for some people, but I have a natural ability to drive people away. Let's go test it out.
Social distancing is for your safety. I haven't showered in weeks. Social distance.
Feel free to change what it says in case you're not stinky. Or if you're the kind of person where people won't realize that's meant to be a joke. For augmented reality distance detection, if there's multiple people, it will report the distance to the closest person. You can see that when the close people leave the frame, it switches to detecting the person farther away. For the trig-based distance, you can measure the distance to anything. For example, under no circumstance should you ever be within 20 feet of one of these monsters. The app is called Yell at People Who Violate Social Distancing. I think a lot of successful apps like Twitter or Lyft have names that are just one word. So I spelled it without spaces. I was gonna make this freely available on the App Store, but Apple rejected it because they don't want anything pandemic related coming from anyone that's not a recognized health institution. As much as I'd like to complain about Apple for rejecting the app, they have a point. We don't want some idiot with no medical degree who just learned how to make an app 3 weeks ago releasing a public health app. But I ignored that. I rebranded it as an app to yell at people who invade your personal space. No social distancing or COVID references anywhere. That did not fool them. It got rejected again. So that's a major bummer. However, I did put the code on GitHub, so you can just download and install it yourself. There's a link in the video description. My next video is a machine learning project, and it's one of the stupidest things I've ever done. Please subscribe if you want to see that. Thank you, bye!